Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show, Fresh Friday edition. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Ohio is seeing a huge number of people getting their first COVID shots just a week after the governor there announced the $5 million Vax-A-Million lottery. And now New York and Maryland are doing something similar in hopes of getting people to get off the edge and go ahead and get their shots. So the question is, why not offer some big incentives here as well? That is what King County Councilmember Reagan Dunn is proposing, and he joins us now on the show. Good morning, Reagan. I think we're having a bit of a technical problem. Do we have you now?
Here. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. So talk to us about your proposal. What is it that you think is going to get people who are vaccine hesitant right now to potentially change their minds?
Yeah, well, we're seeing this big plateau in vaccinations. In fact, it's starting to go down substantially now. And so what I'm trying to do is think of all the creative ways we can as a county government to encourage people to sort of get off the dime and go get vaccinated. So one of the things that we're talking about are things like simple ideas like vouchers for property taxes that would reduce your property tax relief a little bit, something like even rent assistance, even things as simple that we're considering, things like an Amazon gift card when somebody gets their shots, or other vouchers. And also, like something like Ohio did, something like a prize drawing. I've seen lotteries. I've seen lottery scratch tickets given. So there's a lot of ideas, and obviously we need to do everything we can to get our community vaccinated, all communities throughout King County and the Puget Sound region. And this is just one little way, I think, to push a little harder on the issue.
Now, would these things be available just to people who still haven't gotten their shots or to everyone who's been vaccinated?
So out of an interest of fairness, the way I wrote the legislation is to give it to anybody who has already been vaccinated and also those who will get vaccinated as long as the program exists. As you know, the federal government has put about $1.9 trillion into helping state and local governments. That percentage is about $440 million in our state. A lot of money is going out. It seems to me that $1 million or so, perhaps a little more, is money well spent, when the main mission really at the end of the day for these COVID relief dollars is to get people vaccinated, our community healthy, and get us back to our normal lives.
Council member, when I hear this, and first of all, I think that this is a phenomenal and fantastic idea. And I do know that someone's listening right now saying, yeah, you know what, I think that's an idea. But then somebody's saying, how much? What kind of money are we talking about on that voucher, council member?
That's a great question. Here's what I'm seeing. I am seeing hundreds of millions of dollars go out from the federal assistance dollars into lots of programs, some only rationally related, barely related to COVID. This seems to me to be right on point. So if we spend $1 million or $2 million on this, I think it'd be good. But I'm thinking maybe $50, $100. It's money well spent if you actually do the math in terms of what we've already spent in terms of getting those vaccines developed and what we've got to get to the money we spent to pay for the development of the shot and everything else. It's really a drop in the bucket overall in terms of what we are spending. And so I want it to be enough to get people to show up, right? That's what I'm thinking.
You know what, council member? We are usually reporting and we're reactive to what you guys are doing. I'm going to go ahead and speak for the people right now. And let's you and I just go. I'm going to hit you with it, right? $50 ain't going to do it, sir. I'm just going to let you right now. The $50 is not going to do it. So you go back to your people, and I'm speaking for our people and saying about $250. See, $250 is kind of $250 is a magic word because here's the deal. $100 is like dinner. Right? $100 is like dinner, and then anything over that could be like bonus, like, oh, we're going to get some dessert, or we're going to do some other things, or this could pay a bill or a light bill or something. So I would imagine that $250 is a good number to motivate those to get out there and get vaccinated. Because if this is truly something that you want to do, then your $250 is a magic number.
Okay, I like it. I like where you're coming from. Tell you what, you already moved me off $50. I'm going to come up a little bit, somewhere between 51 and 250. How's that sound? We'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, you're right. There is a price point where it's not. If it's like $10, nobody's going to show up. It's like jury duty. Nobody wants to do that. But this, we want to make people get off the couch, whatever they're doing. Take a few minutes, go in and get vaccinated, because the vaccine shots are pretty easy to get these days, as you well know.
Well, Councilman, I love Gee's idea, but I want to get back to reality here, too, because there are some people who, no matter the amount of money, they're not going to do it. And, in fact, there are surveys that show that some of it falls along party lines. And you, as a Republican member of the King County Council, how do you see this where many Republicans, I would say, many conservatives are saying, if the vaccine works so well, why do you have to throw all these incentives out there? It's almost sounding like desperation. And one of the things that many of them who are surveyed say is, we would rather have the freedom to open up, that they value that more. What argument would you use to get some of your fellow conservatives who are hesitant to get the vaccine to do it?
Well, let me acknowledge your point. I think it's exactly right. It is sort of my class of folks, middle-aged men who happen to be Republican, who are really that's where the significant percentage of vaccine hesitancy is. And, I strongly believe that everyone should get vaccinated unless you have a super compelling reason, like a family history or personal history of reacting really poorly to vaccines. And I will tell you this. We know from the 1918 Spanish flu that the communities that came out of that pandemic more quickly and actually did more aggressive social distancing were the first communities to recover economically, to create more jobs, to create more wealth. It just is going to be better for everybody in the long term if they get vaccinated. And the criticism that this is expensive doesn't look at all of the other money that we are hemorrhaging out in terms of things like rent assistance and things like the various property tax reliefs, all of the programs, the public health programs that we are putting forward to try and make our way through this. All of that can be taken away and gotten rid of sooner if we do the vaccine incentive program.
I thank you for saying that, because I think that is to hear from someone like you, who you're respected within the party and can talk about that. I think that does much more than people who are already sold on it, right? The other issue that I believe we have is that many companies are not allowing their employees the time it takes to get the vaccine. The time off, the time.
That's an interesting idea. We should make that should be required. That should be required under the healthcare laws, actually. That's a good suggestion.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So I do want to ask one more thing, though, because you think that we should be doing this in King County, but King County is actually doing relatively well. I mean, aren't we at close to more than 60% vaccine? Okay,
54% for the total vaccination rate. So in the high 60s low 60s for the first shot. For the first shot, yes.
Okay, so are there areas where you feel that in King County that are especially worrisome for you?
Yeah, well, if you look at the map, my district, southeast King County, and the rural areas around Enumclaw have the worst vaccination rates. And so, that's one of the reasons why I'm rolling this out. But also communities of color are lower. And I have places in my district that are below 40% as well. So, just across the board, I mean, no matter what community you're in or a part of in this county or this region, we need to get moving and really find every way creatively possible to get people vaccinated.
King County Councilmember Reagan Dunn, we always appreciate you coming onto the show, and thank you and good luck with this. Hopefully, Gee will get you up to $250.
Now, hey, Councilmember, look, listen, man, hold on. Before you leave, nothing under $100, Councilmember. Have you seen gas prices? Gas prices.
That's true. I know. I hear you, man. We're working on it.